Wednesday. RawMikeRichards.com, broadcasting live from the DKI studios in downtown Toronto. 234 King Street East out of the Pacific Junction Hotel. Well, we've been away for a while, and I think some stuff has happened. They're happy in Maple Leaf Land. I guess if you're part of the Lake Show, you're happy. Maybe you're even happy in Calgary. Certainly enough moves. We'll have Mike Babcock come in and, well, make comments to Dave like he normally does, but apparently he's got a big, some big production piece. Like, people assume they knew what it was that got John Tavares to sign here. So we're going to see a part of that presentation that no one has seen. And apparently that's what made the deal. This was the tipping point. He brings that in today. We'll also take a look, as we mentioned, LeBron James to the Lakers. Does that mean Kawhi Leonard? Is that where he goes? To DeMarcus Cousins. He goes to the Warriors. So what do these moves mean? Well, if Kawhi doesn't go to the Lake Show, I think you're just looking one more time at a Warriors-Rockets. Versus who, though? That's the question. Do you still consider the Raptors in this conversation? Or is it the Celtics? Might be the Celtics. Also, Dave, we have someone who's going to put on, I think the first time, this is the Best Burgers.
Yeah, Burger Mania. Best Burgers, yeah. No, Burger Mania is running wild this weekend in Toronto. So they have a festival coming up. We'll talk to the founder, owner, chef, whatever you want to call him. I think he does everything. So, yeah, coming up this weekend. More on that in a bit, including Donald Rossner, our bagel boss guy, who is probably going to be looking to collect that jersey that you promised him last week. So
more and more stuff.
Good luck to you on
for
that.
him. Yeah, I better get it.
It's like, oh.
Don't worry. I'm sort of getting to the point where, say the anger's kind of coming out in me a little bit. It's the summer. You're supposed to be relaxed. But I got a little bit of a issue with anger at times. So I believe that I will get that jersey for him. This is what I'm going to do for him. Look, there are going to be a lot of people want to wear that jersey, Dave. As it came across on, can you believe on Canada Day?
That's when all the big signings happen. So,
but to see this, I mean, this town went nuts. Toronto went crazy. I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. I mean, I mean, were they always? I mean, can you say that they were front runners when this thing started?
Well, if you remember our show in February, I said this was target number one for the Maple Leafs. So this did not surprise me. He did exactly what Steven Stamkos probably should have done. And now Maple Leaf fans are sitting there probably thankful that it's Tavares and not Stamkos, because you can't have both.
Yeah, that would have screwed this, I think.
Yeah, well, no, it would have. They wouldn't have been in the conversation. So you had your choice. The first one decided not to come. The second one was, I'd have to say, dead set on coming, to tell you the truth, because you look at some of the other teams, and you take offers, and you kind of see maybe somebody wants to fire off a $15 million contract for the next 7, and then you kind of start to scratch your head and go, okay, but I don't think anybody did that. There were teams that offered more than Toronto. We do know that, but his heart was in Toronto, which I can't blame him, because there's a number of players, when you grow up, you want to play for your team. You want to play for that hometown team. And I'll tell you about a certain Toronto Maple Leaf that probably won't be here with that same acknowledgement of hometown team, because it pissed off a lot of people on social media this past weekend.
Oh, Gretzky wanted to play for the Leafs.
He did.
I mean, he when you grow up in your area, and this is what we always talk about, the difference between certain almost regions and maybe different sports. So in Europe, in their given sport, and you pick any one of them, generally it's the World Cup of whatever that is the biggest thing.
Yep.
We're a league-driven society. So Dave grows up in Winnipeg. Dale Harchek's his favorite player. Dave makes it to the pros. there might be a little bit of a lean on what team he wants to play for.
Bingo.
But it rarely happens, Dave. It's not common that you get a chance, really.
No.
That you get to do this. So I'm happy for him.
So am I. I think it's really exciting. I think it's exciting for Maple Leaf fans. They should be really excited about the prospects of this upcoming season. I'm still not convinced they're going to do anything much more than what they did last year with regards to, winning a division, because they're not as good as the Tampa Bay Lightning. They are not even remotely as good as the Tampa Bay Lightning. Will they challenge? Yeah, they will. Will they win a playoff series? They damn well better. But they better do something about this defense, because it's shite. It really is.
Well, I think D, which you can't tell me it's got better to this point. I mean, so I do we assume that there's other pieces coming? I don't know. Is there the manner in which they play, Dave? So when you start talking about playoffs, I still need a team that's got a bit of grit and pushes back.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that...
They just got rid of the only player that provided that yesterday. Matt Martin traded back to the New York Islanders. Now, I'm not saying Matt Martin was the be-all, end-all. I still think he should have been part of the playoff run. I think he should have been in the lineup, because what they have right now, in a nutshell, is 12 of the exact same player. Nazem Kadri's a little bit of an exception, but if Nazem Kadri's your tough guy... That's a major problem. Like I'm not sitting there telling everybody that, Fraser McLaren and a Colton Orr should be re-signed by this team, and we should bring back Randy Carlyle and they should whip it up. But that fourth line better be guys with 80-plus penalty minutes that hit the crap out of teams, because nobody else on this roster does. Nobody on defense does. Nobody does. This team is the softest team in the NHL. Will they score a lot? Yeah, they will. They'll finish top 3 in scoring. Will they have league leaders in categories? Yeah. Will they get beat up by teams in the playoffs? Yes, they will. They have to address that. It'd be nice if they signed a couple tough wingers that can play and skate. There's a lot of good examples of it, like a Joel Ward, Scarborough, Joe Ward, come back, defenseman. A younger version of Roman Polak with a lot more talent is probably what they'd be looking for. A guy that's going to hit some people, move some bodies around, and has to be able to skate. There's a lot of problems with this team. Is this team top 5 in the league in points? Yeah, mark it down. Check it. Regular season, great. We know what regular season teams do, though. If they don't address other situations in this lineup, you end up being a Washington Capital team prior to this last season.
Yeah, I think the one thing that to be careful with is being excited by a team that is going to make it into a bit of a track meet. There'll be cracks about playing like a junior hockey team sometimes. Yeah. I get all that. I mean, it's
damn good one though.
Yeah, extreme talent. But the problem is, it reminds me of that weird era of Pittsburgh in between you when you had after that one run of cups, and then they got, it seemed, Dave, soft, and then you had Marc-Andre Fleury, who didn't play very well at all.
Nope.
And if you could put pressure on them, certainly in their own zone, you literally could roll them over, and it became kind of obvious that way. It's blood in the water. So at some point you have to have a level. We're not talking about fighting. We're not talking about dropping the gloves. We're talking about basically giving another team a 2.5 hour to 3 hour face wash, regardless of the player that it is. So you all have to get on board with the fact, if you want to win playoff series, that there is going to have to be a level of grit, a level of manning up, as opposed to, I guess, equivalent in basketball. It's just a team that wants to go to threes all the time and not play defense.
I'm glad you brought up the Penguins of the 90s, because it's a really good example what the Leafs want to be like. Because when you look at that Penguins of the 90s, they got their superstars, they got their great goaltender. Well, Tom Barrasso is much better than Freddie Anderson, but they don't have Rick Tocchet. They don't have guys like that can actually play and skate, like a Phil Bourque. They don't have guys like Bob Erie. They don't have guys like that contributed.
That was Trotz's era too, right?
But
at the end,
Brian Trottier was like a shell of what he was, but still that gritty guy, right, that could play fourth line minutes. They don't have that type of player. Let's not forget, Rick Tocchet scores 30 goals and adds 150 minutes of penalties. I'm not saying you have to add that many, but nobody would touch Rick Tocchet, because Rick Tocchet would score on you and he'd also beat you up. They don't have that player.
And this is exactly what you have to, to me, what you have to do. And the reason I bring up Trotz is, that classic clip we showed of the guys on the bench chirping that he's got to embarrass about. But that was the attitude.
Yep, big time.
That's the attitude. And again, will Mike Babcock be one of these guys that's able to do that? To mold this into a team that, again, it's got to be the kind of team you don't want to play. So if I'm looking at these teams, Dave, and we'll go, for example, not just because you're from Winnipeg, but if I look at Winnipeg, generally still, as they will take the ice, this fall, there's still going to be a team that's going to be considered a team that you don't want to play. And part of that is their size. They can all skate. They can roll those 4 lines, but they also will punch you in the face.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And good luck trying to get by their defense where they have Twin Towers back there. I'm not saying Tyler Myers is a roughhouser, but you see what Dustin Byfuglien did in the postseason? Anybody want to pick on him?
Yeah, exactly. And they got a goaltender that if you get by all
bingo.
that, he's probably going to stop you.
Bingo. And, it's almost like, and I know this is a pretty big wish list, but it'd be nice if the Leafs could acquire somebody like a Jacob Trouba, but not as expensive, because you can't spend that kind of money, because Trouba will be able to play every single type of style on the ice. He'll hit guys and he'll provide offense, defense, everything you need in a player. But that's a $5.5 million defenseman. They don't have that. Like Jacob Trouba on the Maple Leafs is a number 1. Morgan Riley on this team is number 1. The difference between those two is light and day on how you actually play the game of defense. The Maple Leafs need to improve on that. And you know what? They're going to have a very nice regular season. My concern is what happens once that calendar turns to April and it's time to play for real.
You're watching rawmike.richards.com, either on the website or the dedicated YouTube channel. We're going to talk a lot about John Tavares, I'm sure, if you missed the press conference, which you probably didn't. But we're catching up here. But it's, because we're going to bring in someone very significant who helped John Tavares come here in that presentation, that being the coach. But first, Henny asks a question. Our good friend Paul Hendrick at that presser. And John Tavares answered it, because I'll be honest, everything that the kid says is right. I kind of like what he says. And property of the National Hockey League, Toronto Maple Leafs, and Maple Leaf TV. Here's the newest Toronto Maple Leaf.
Well, it was quite the process. One of the toughest weeks, and obviously I say that, knowing the position I'm in and how fortunate I am to be in this position, it was tough. You're in one place for so long. You get so embedded. Your roots are so deep in there, and you care so much about the people and the people that have cared about you. It really took the right opportunity and the right fit. I thought the timing was just couldn't be beat, and certainly being from here, and I think with where there's teams at and how good and young their core players are, and obviously seeing in recent weeks how the Marlies did and what the future holds with much more talent in the job that they've done here, it was just hard to turn down. It was hard to turn down this opportunity. It's obviously one of the premier organizations, not just in hockey but in sports, and as a kid, cheering for the Leafs growing up. You start to get those feelings again once I went through the interview process and got that, and just what it was like as a kid watching the Leafs and following my favorite players. I thought the timing was too good, and it was an opportunity I didn't want to turn down, and very fortunate to be here and happy to call myself a Maple Leaf.
And really happy to be joined by the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mike Babcock. He joins us on this summertime, July the 4th. And, Coach, excited to have your newest first-line center. Is it safe to say that you were very excited on Canada Day?
Davey, I think that's, you talk about accuracy. You try to talk about focus, and everything you've done there is exactly right. I think Kyle did a good job, thorough in his his research on looking at Johnny coming here, and Kyle did a good job, and Shady, it's the reason why this is going to be a team that's going to fight. It's going to fight on a nightly basis. We got a great group. A lot of teams got great players, but I think we got some good players too, and I think it's going to be a different year for us.
Well, let me ask you this then. A lot of teams were entertaining the idea of bringing on John Tavares. What was the difference maker? What was the Maple Leafs sell point that said to John Tavares, I want to go back to Toronto. I want to be a Toronto Maple Leaf?
Well, I guess, Davey, I can divulge it now, and a lot of people didn't know this, but the biggest thing, you talk your video presentations and Kyle's research and whatnot, but it was my song.
So, your song, sorry?
I did a song for Johnny, and I think he liked it, and I think that's what tipped the scales in their favor.
Oh.
Is a great song that I done.
Do you want to share it with us?
Can we do it right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
Okay.
Exclusively on Raw Mike Richards.
Here we go. Come listen to my story about a man named John. Great young player whose team had got it wrong. And then one day, his contract came to an end. He had lots of interest and agents to snow band, CAA, swimming pools, movie stars. Well, the first thing you know, old John's a billionaire. The Leafs were attracted because his kinfolk are from here. Said Ontario is the place you ought to be. He loaded up his truck and became a Maple Leaf. First line center, Marnie on one side, Hyman on the other.
Wow. The GTA line, I like it.
That's what I did there, Dave.
That's a pretty good sell there, Coach.
Oh, it's a great song.
Thanks for joining us. One final question. Yeah. You shored up the offense, but your defense looks like garbage.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's going to be really weak. I'm hoping we can get a good year out of Freddie. Otherwise, we're up Schitt's Creek. Not that shitty TV show on CBC neither. Eh? Thanks, Davey.
Thanks, Coach.
You look good. You look really good.
Mike Babcock joining us exclusively here on Raw Mike Richards. And wow, the things you'll learn on why players go to certain places. We learned one here, Mike.
Didn't think it was going to be a song. Going to be honest, I really
You know what? He's so good. I want him in studio in August with a guitar.
Oh yeah. Him and Tom Porras will get together. Now, there's one guy who probably isn't excited about that song, and our good friend Donald Rosner, right from New York City, from Boss Bagels, offered a lifetime supply of bagels, a lifetime supply to JT if he stayed with the Islanders, and unfortunately he was competing against that song, so.
It's a tough one.
That's tough. I'm looking for our good friend Donald Rosner.
You got him.
I don't know what to say, buddy, because you know what? Maybe this is breaking news. I don't like to break this news. John Tavares hates bagels.
No, he doesn't.
He's a bastard. He's a bastard. How you turn down lifetime supply, but buddy, as they say up here, you gave her. You gave all you got, and at the end of the day, he doesn't stay with the Islanders. And I think for someone like yourself, who's just a diehard Islanders fan, that was even though it is your long weekend, July 4th weekend, that was probably pretty tough, I would think.
Very tough. Very disappointed, heartbroken. He's my favorite player. He still will be my favorite player. Just unfortunate that he won't be on our team anymore.
Well, so do you have to pick a new guy that you like on the Islanders, or is there anyone?
There's a pretty good rookie of the year that looks like he's going to be the next up-and-coming guy, right, Donald?
Yeah, Matt Barzell, he's awesome to watch. A lot of fun, the way he skates and, his stick handling, all of it. He's just an amazing player. I love all the Islanders, and I love the fact that they got Matt Martin back. You guys will miss him, I think. He protects players, and he would have protected JT there. So I'm kind of glad that he's not on the Leafs anymore. He'll be with us protecting our guys, and it's where he wants to be. So excited about that.
Yeah, exactly. Happy 4th of July, Donald, one of our favorite Americans, of course. He heads up Bagel Boss in New York City. I have to ask you, there was a couple things on Twitter, again, with you involved with it, and the burning of John Tavares jerseys. And you had a little bit of a rebuttal and a little bit of offer for people that kind of made those, I'm not going to say stupid, but I don't know. I don't agree with it, but maybe tell everybody out there listening, and we're going to be replaying this a little bit later on as well, what you're doing to counter the burning of the Tavares jerseys that have happened with some people. I shouldn't say all people, some people, but you know how it is. It's the minority that gets advertised, and this is what's happened so far.
Yeah, so I'm not a fan of burning jerseys for, when you're a fan of a team and you support the team, if one bad thing happens, I don't agree with people who start burning jerseys and start really making the franchise look bad. So what we decided to do was we decided that we were going to ask everybody that didn't want their jerseys anymore to bring them down to our stores. We have a few locations, and instead of burning them, bring them to us, and we're going to donate them to charity. I've been speaking with a few different charities now, and we think that would be a good idea because jerseys are expensive, as you know, and people can't afford them, and we thought it would be a good idea to do that.
You're like the best guy ever. Do you know that? I swear to God, Donald, your head and your heart in the right place. And I promised a signed jersey. I'm getting you that signed jersey. I mean, I don't care if I have to do something. That's amazing. I don't have to care if I have to do something weird, or Devin here does like a weird naked thing on his property, and then he runs out, and I go, "Ha! Here's a pen. Could you just sign this for Donald, please?" Well, I don't care what we have to do, but you know what? Good for you. I said, look, of the average sports fans that I know, Dave Bastel's not only one of the best sports journalists in all the country, but he's the biggest sports fan that I know. I mean, he still doesn't defend the fact that he likes certain players, that he likes certain teams, that it doesn't cloud his judgment all the time.
No,
but
sometimes.
But it's always refreshing to come across somebody who feels that passionate about it, because I think it's the one thing a little bit, Donald, that I think we get lost on is sometimes we look at salary caps, we look at how much a guy makes, we look at term, we use all these phrases. Rarely do we talk about the heart of a guy mixed in also with the talent, because JT's got both, and the fact that you still stand behind him, realize that the quality guy is, that tells me all I need to know about you, which is a lot.
I appreciate that. Just if I could add, John Tavares has done so much for Long Island, and since the day he was drafted, everyone looked up to him, including myself, and everything that he's done for the franchise, for the New York Islanders, you can't blame him for any of this, and you can only thank him. So if he were to hear it, my message to him is just thank you for everything. I definitely still support him, and hopefully he gets to win a cup one day.
Donald, thanks so much for joining us. We'll keep in touch because I think you're fantastic. I really appreciate it. I know, there's a lot of fans obviously hurting on the island today about that team, but I'll tell you, you're doing it, as the coaches like to say, Dave, the right way.
The right way.
The right way, and you
Thanks,
certainly
Donald.
do that. Donald, you take care, and we'll talk to you soon, brother.
Thanks so much. You too.
Donald Rosner from Boss Bagels, and you have to understand that at some point, Dave, like when your favorite player leaves, and I think of those that left to get to a cup.
Yep.
So maybe you've won a cup in some cases, or maybe it is the chance to win a cup. So when you look at Ray Bourque, for instance, is he the first one that comes to mind? Because I'm not saying Gretzky, because Gretzky had won by the time he left Edmonton. Same with Mess. What do you think? Who's equivalent to that to leave to go and win something? And we're not putting the NBA in this category because that's every year. I want to play with him now. Dave and I are going to go to Los Angeles. We're going to go to Miami. We're going to go to Oklahoma City. Shut it. Shut it.
No.
God, I hate that.
Isn't that the truth?
I hate it.
It's the worst. And we see another example with Boogie Cousins. It's like,
no.
Thanks for ruining the next 8 months. Anyway, I think Ray Bourque's the best example because it's funny. It's funny you say that because Ray Bourque, and a lot of people forget this, Ray Bourque was traded on the deadline, went to Colorado. Colorado failed. He stayed with Colorado the following year, played the entire year with them, wins the cup. The next year, and I still have it at home, the NHL guide, records, stuff like that. Ray Bourque on the cover of that publication. It's about this thick. Every single year you have the Stanley Cup champion. Usually it's the captain, but in this case, Ray Bourque, I'll never forget. And I'm not even an Avs fan. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Joe Sakic calls over Ray Bourque and hands him the Stanley Cup immediately. Goosebumps. One of the greatest Stanley Cup presentations in my memory, and I don't give a crap about the Avalanche. In fact, I hate them because in the Central Division, the division that belongs to the Winnipeg Jets, that's another argument for another time.
This is what I was saying about not all the time.
That memory, Mike, is major league significant, and I think I'd put that at the top.
There was this weird, overwhelming love it came from the strangest places about Ray Bourque. I mean, everybody. I remember, like, guys in NASCAR that were winning.
Yes.
We're saying, by the way, I want to say congratulations. I won't say congratulations to Raymond Bourque. And I was like, what?
They don't even know who he is, and they're congratulating him.
It was weird. It's like, and the Pope, before I make an announcement for Easter, hey, Ray Bourque, #1, way to go.
So true.
The Stanley Cup. Like, it got so strange
Yep.
that it just, and it never stopped. And then, we go back to Donald's feeling like we're still happy for the Bruin fans were still happy for him.
Oh, absolutely they were.
Right.
Ray Bourque is the second greatest defenseman on that Bruins roster in the history, maybe second best player in the history of that organization, to the legendary, the surefire #1, Bobby Orr. Ray Bourque is #2. That's how it works, and they've been so blessed. They've been so blessed to have generational defensemen. You have Bobby Orr that plays his seasons. Unfortunately, not enough in my opinion. And then Ray Bourque gets handed the torch in like 1980, plays the next 20 plus years, and then a couple years down the line, they get Zdeno Chara for a song because the Ottawa Senators decided to go with Chris Phillips instead of Zdeno. For the life of me, I don't understand that. I'll never understand that. But they've been very blessed in Boston to have generational Hall of Fame type defensemen. Ray Bourque was one of them. Ray Bourque is one of theirs, even though he's wearing that Avalanche maroon and blue jersey.
I'm so glad that you brought up Bobby Orr, because here's another tie-in that I know people don't think of, and it is related to Bobby Orr. Ray Bourque, not unlike a player like Bobby Orr, and I'll throw in a Peyton Manning, there's something else that those great players have done. They have stuck with the same hairstyle. No matter what the fad or the generation, Ray Bourque never changed that hair.
That's true.
Never did Bobby, and you know damn well that Peyton Manning never changed that hair since he was 5.
So true. Yeah, you could set your watch to Ray Bourque's haircut. That's how precise it is.
It's like, do you think other players are coming up like, damn, that Bourque? How do you knock a guy off his game when he refuses to go and change his hairstyle for 30 years?
My friend used to call him the porcupine. Not my words. I love 77. I also love 7. A lot of people forget that you started off wearing 7, hands the jersey to Phil, and wears 77, becomes a legend in 77.
So I see, Dev, are you drastically or quickly trying to find a hairstyle? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, he's trying.
Well, because if you're going to find it, you got to put it in there. This is what it's like being a pro. Oh boy, look at that one.
Pressure.
That is. You're gonna have to find one now because we're slowly.
Oh yeah.
Not going to be able to. Deb, do you know what fast means?
This is Andy Reid clock management here, right?
There it is. There's your shot right there.
Oh,
there it is right there. There it is.
Ray Bourque.
When you'd go into a barber shop in late 70s?
I was going to say 82.
Oh, 82. There's that style. It could be in black and white, and definitely the guy was Italian. There's going to be an Italian guy. Mario or Enzo was that hairstyle.
My old hairdresser.
You never did
that haircut.
Oh yeah,
his name was Don the barber. Oh. Don had that haircut.
Don knows this. Don knows his hairstyle. He does. Speaking
my
of going
parents
back,
are watching this. They're laughing somewhere.
Well,
it's so true.
We're going to talk to Adam Panoff in just a minute.
Burger Mania running wild in the streets of Toronto.
You know what? There's something about a burger. Like
it's the best.
It all of a sudden, like there's a lot of food that even if you love it, you're like, oh, I don't know. But
a burger.
If you start thinking, but when you think of a burger, you think of like the most amazing. Yes. And I always fight when I make burgers on the grill. I just can't. They're okay, but they're not great.
They're not great.
They're not great.
I know.
Like ribs, a lot of things I do, absolutely fantastic. I can't get that home run, and you try to different. So we're going to talk to Adam about that, how to do that. Here's a little more nostalgia. People, as we'll bring in Adam here in moments. I had done my big thing on the dismantling of TSN 1050, of which we mentioned our good friend and unbelievable producer, Ank.
Yes.
People's, whatever happened to Ank? Where's Ank these days? Well, I'm happy to tell you right now, and here this morning, I found some footage of what Ank is doing now. And I wish it could be better. I really do. But Ank's our good friend. We support him. And here's a little segment I have to call Looking Back at Ank.
కొంచెం హూతగణం.
As you can see, it's become very violent for Ank back in his homeland, but he's apparently become very good at martial arts. I always thought he was taller.
ఏంట్రోయ్ ఒకే సైజులో ఊరే ఉన్నట్టుంది, మళ్ళీ తన్నులు తినాలని వచ్చావా? మరి
తీసుకున్నది తిరిగి ఇవ్వడానికి వచ్చాను. బాకీ పెట్టడం.
Once again, I'm not sure what you're saying, but I know that there's consternation.
కాదు, నా పవర్ ఏంటో చూపించడానికే వచ్చాను. అర్థమైందా? నా దారి రహదారి. ఇప్పుడు చూడు.
I don't know if we should show a lot of this. It's very upsetting. But once again, this is what Ank is doing now. So it's now it's upsetting. Devin, we should take that off because it's very violent. There you go. There's that's what Ank is doing now.
Wow. Got to say a slight downgrade. Not as good as the job he had, but
no, that wasn't his fault.
No, it isn't.
As people
There's a lot of jerks out there.
Yeah, and they all seem to work for one country or company. Sorry. Adam Panoff is. This is the first of this event. This is going to be the inaugural event that they hope they do every year.
Hard to believe it's a first too, because this is my,
it's a good idea though.
Favorite food ever.
It's like when they came up with Beer Fest, I went, where was that forever? Like, how hard was that to think of?
So true.
We've been going to beer tents. If you're from Canada, it's like, hey, you know the small towns. Then like, hey, we've got the pumpkin eating contest, and we got like pies, and we got a rodeo. I'm like, yeah, that's all great. Where's the beer tent?
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah.
Amen.
Or here's the name I used to love. The Beer Gardens.
Beer Gardens.
Oh yeah,
yes, the gardens.
With the fountains.
Only thing I'm
yeah.
planting is this beer in my hand, and
yeah. I'll just
Adam, welcome to the show.
Yes, Adam Panoff, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome.
Adam will just put this a little closer.
Boys, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Big fan of
So Panoff, if I say to you Caucasus, am I right?
Yes.
Macedonian. Are you Macedonian?
No, I'm not.
What was the last name?
Probably
it's Polish, actually.
Hey.
My father was born in Poland.
Right here.
Yes, I have a Polish background. Yukshemesh.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, what happened to that team in the World Cup?
Hey, no idea.
Too many burgers. I mean, maybe.
hey.
Lewandowski was going, I'm so
burgers,
full.
So.
Yeah, that
not
was.
enough protein in them to give them the energy.
So let's find out a little bit about you. So what exactly is your background? Are you a Toronto guy?
I am a Toronto guy. My father was born in Poland. My mother in Winnipeg. And you're a pegger as well.
We're not best friends.
Come on.
There you go.
I'm a Jet season ticket holder. That's
all right. I mean, I'm a diehard Leafs fan. But
we're not friends anymore.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, especially after what happened this week. So.
No kidding.
So my background is here. I grew up in Thornhill, so just outside the city.
Thornly or?
No, I went to Westmount Collegiate Institute.
Westmount.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went to Western for business. And
God, a Western guy. Man, it was going so well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I had a good time.
Yeah, of course you did. Seeps
and
nice.
Joe
Cools
Rays and Jacks and all those classic Richmond Road bars.
Beef Baron?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, of course. Okay, good. They also have meat
Never
there
heard
as well.
Of the Beef Baron.
Yeah, meat and buns. So you go there, you take business, and you're a young entrepreneur. Is this what we're calling you?
Sure.
Okay.
If you'd like.
No, absolutely we are.
But a background in food at some point with the family or no?
No, I've just always loved food.
Here, just move a little.
I've just always loved food. My background is I started my own event production company called Rollicore Events Inc. The name Rollicore stands for Rochelle, Lucienne. Those are my mother and late father's name.
Oh, beautiful. Very nice.
Yeah, so
nice.
I kind of named the company after them. I figured, they've done some things for me in my life, so I figured
Good for
they've
you.
done tons for me in my life, so I am where I am because of them. So I started this whole event production company. Primarily, I've been doing fundraisers for the most part, and I've always wanted to move into this industry because I've just found, especially over the last probably decade or so, Toronto has really developed into this center for festivals, more specifically food festivals. We
Yes.
have,
Oh, huge.
we have Mac and Cheese Fest. We have Taco Fest, Brunch Fest. We have a Shawarma Fest I saw
wait a
the
minute.
other day.
There's how do you do a brunch fest?
So Brunch
it
Fest.
takes so long.
Yeah, so-
no one's going for 15 minutes of brunch.
You know what? People in Toronto love their brunch.
Oh, sure, of course. Who
They
doesn't?
love their brunch. They love their fried chicken and eggs and
As long as there's mimosas,
good
though.
idea.
If there is no
there are
sparkling
mimosas
wine,
there too.
yeah,
so.
they do have that as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and I know the guys who run it. They're great people at Taste Toronto. But yeah, it always kind of left me shocked and surprised. Why the hell
Yeah.
is there
Bingo.
no burger festival?
Bingo.
It is, in my opinion, the most obvious idea. It is. Toronto is this burger crazed hub. There are new establishments popping up all over the place, fighting to be the champion of Toronto, to have the best burger in Toronto.
And high end, so Burger Priest and
You have
and-
high end, you have your fast food places, but in my opinion, I mean, I have been going around. So for the last 6 months, collecting my vendors, what I've been doing is just going around eating burger after burger after burger, attempting to devour every single burger this
And on that,
city has
on
to
that
offer.
note, for a second, we have to thank Stockyards
We have to thank
for
the
for the food
Stockyards.
today.
Oh,
we have to
very
thank
nice.
the Stockyards
Was
for bringing their
outstanding
burgers.
to bring
one of the
fresh
best
food.
burgers
Yes.
I've ever had.
Yeah,
And
I've eaten there
I shit you
before, and
not.
I can't wait for these. And yes, thank you to our friends at
Thank you to our
Stockyards.
friends.
Well,
Absolutely.
if I'm going to a place that
You will be at
specializes,
Burger Mania.
if you specialize in meat and you call your place Stockyard, I'm going through your door.
Yes,
I mean
absolutely.
it's a winner right there.
Yeah.
But also though can't be easy if you're trying to narrow it down to, just these best burgers. I mean, was it difficult?
I mean, so like I said, we went around attempting to devour every burger in the city. Obviously, not all of them could be reached. There are hundreds of them, maybe thousands of them.
And chains are in this conversation.
So I mean, no,
Like
so
Hero
our
or-
biggest chain is Holy Chuck. They have 3 locations.
Okay.
Their burgers are outstanding. I would say that they are, in terms of just the way their burger is formed and how it tastes. Their competitors they're very similar to Burgers Priest, for example.
And Dev, just go through and find burgers and show pictures of burgers, because if we mention those names, you can throw them up there too, because you said Burger Priest is there?
Burgers Priest is not there.
Is not there? Okay.
No. So our biggest chain is Holy Chuck. We wanted to really go after the local, homegrown favorites that people love so much. The people who really put their blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not saying Burgers Priest doesn't. They're great, and I've worked with them before.
Sure.
And their burgers are absolutely incredible. And we wanted Burgers Priest there. They just couldn't be there. Unfortunately, they're expanding, opening.
What's
up
like
in
having
Calgary this
it's
week.
like having a they're in Calgary? Seriously?
They're opening up a location in Calgary this week. yeah.
Beautiful. It's like Beer Fest. Like if I'm going down to Beer Fest, I don't need to have a bud. I don't need to have even necessarily. I want to see that bottle of beer. I'm going, what is Sweet Sally's
Exactly.
sexy sauce or
Exactly.
whatever they
Yes.
call it?
Exactly.
I want to try something new.
Yeah, and our goal was to go after these local homegrown favorite, these one-off places, or at most, Holy Chuck's, has 3 locations, but the places that have these one-off locations that we would love to give the exposure out to them, because these are, in my opinion, it's these places that are they serve the best burgers in the world and some of the high quality stuff.
So you call it Burger Mania,
Yeah.
and as soon as you put mania behind something,
Wrestling.
I'm on board.
Yeah, Mania's always
Everybody
good.
else is. I've already tweeted out that Burger Mania is running wild this weekend at Ontario Place.
Ever been to Porn Mania?
I have.
Yeah, it's good too.
I-
Adam, like we're pretending like we don't know each other from that event. Okay, sure. Yeah.
So Ontario Place, great location.
Yeah.
Tell us more. So it starts on Friday, Thursday. How does it
It
go?
starts on
give us a
Friday,
date.
so July 6, 7, and 8, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3-day family-friendly festival.
Yep.
Also pet-friendly, so if people want to walk their dogs for an extended period of time, they
Perfect.
can come and bring them. Everyone is welcome. Yeah, and the whole point was to assemble the best burger vendors from around the GTA and bring them together in one convenient location to
Perfect.
serve up their finest patties to all the burger-loving maniacs in Toronto.
How many of these companies are going to be there? What's the final total? What's the
We have
number?
I think we have 18 or 19 vendors in
Okay.
total.
Oh,
10 of
boy.
them are
Yeah.
burger vendors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
And then on top of that, we want to deliver. It's not just burger vendors. We want to deliver on the whole burger experience. So
Yes.
what goes with the burger? So we have French fry vendors. We have a tater tots vendor.
What about
Side vendors.
Beer. Beer. Do you have?
We have
Okay,
beer.
all right.
We have beer.
All right.
I should have mentioned that first, actually.
Yes,
Mike.
yeah, like I said, get the people through. Get them through.
We have beer. We have complimentary wine and whiskey sampling for the adults. For the kids, we have an interactive fun zone, and we have live music playing, live music and DJs playing throughout.
it's a place to be, right?
It
Yeah,
is. I can
absolutely.
say
I like to think so.
from experience that Ontario Place is the best always I say best kept secret. And of course, it hasn't been the Ontario Place for quite some time, but I worked there. I worked there for a summer. I used to go there all the time. It is a beautiful, beautiful venue that is a huge mistake that we haven't been able to revamp it. Now, I know events like this are certainly going to help. And if that remains your home location for years to come, I would be thrilled with that, because if you've never been, if you haven't had the chance to sit there and have a beer and one of the best burgers that you've ever had, sitting there looking out onto the water, then you're really missing something. This is perfect.
No, and that's why we decided to go with Ontario Place. It's a location where people and families, they'll make a day out of going there. It's not just in the, it could be in the heart of the city.
Sure.
But at the same time, we love the fact that it's on the lake, the skyline's in front of you. It's just an absolutely beautiful venue. And I think that there's something to be said about having it at Ontario Place, not to mention Mac and Cheese Taco Fest, the ultimate place at Ontario Place. So they have a proven record of successful festivals, and we wanted to hopefully jump online with that.
So we're big burger guys. We love to stack them up with almost every single type of topping. Now, there's other people, vegans in the room.
I don't know.
Vegetarians.
I refuse to know these people.
Some of them are quite awesome, but there's all different kind of options. It's not just the beef eaters that have to go down there and you think you're going to get this. It's like there's different options, because when you go into these burger places, and you know this probably better than I do, there are options for everybody that has any sort of diet. You can still enjoy the same experience.
Like gluten-free is huge.
Yes, it's
huge.
massive.
It's massive.
It's massive, and you're going to have that there as well.
We have partnered with a company called Unbun. They are going to be donating and sponsoring a bunch of these vendors. So they're going to be, not all of our vendors are going to be using gluten-free, but a nice amount of them will be having some gluten-free options. Our goal, we don't want to leave anyone out. We want to appeal to everyone. And so whether it's gluten-free or vegetarian, most of our vendors will have an option for you.
Right. Okay, let me ask you this then. You and I are sitting in front of a barbecue.
Yeah.
And, for some magical reason, we can put anything we possibly want on our burger. We have a variety of life.
Yeah.
What does Adam's burger look like if you sit there and go bun, or maybe no bun, I'm not just,
we're going bun.
We're going
bun.
And what are these toppings looking like at the end, and how big is this? I'll compare it to mine as soon as you give me yours.
I will go. My classic burger is just full on classic. Is my double bacon cheeseburger.
Really?
That's what I need.
Okay.
I love either ketchup and mayo on it.
Yeah.
Or some restaurants will offer Chipotle, or so one of our vendors.
Chipotle's very good.
Chipotle mayo is very good.
Yes.
Now, one of my vendors, their name is Golden Star.
Okay.
Now they are a Thornhill. They're like the beacon of Thornhill. They're great. They're the shining lights of Thornhill's burger market, and in general, they're one of the best burgers in Toronto. And I grew up going to them, and they just do the classic banquet burger, and I used to grow up going all the time. And I live downtown. I actually still go there about once a week.
Sure. See, up in that area too, where people
the
that's sort
burger,
of
bacon and cheese.
That's York County, and so as you get up there and towards Woodbridge and Vaughan, all that, some of these burger places have been around for a long time, and I was surprised. So John Anderson's has someone's going to correct me. It's either Kennedy or Warden or one of those. It's been there since the 70s.
Yeah.
The 70s.
So this place, Golden Star, I think has been there since maybe the 60s or 70s. Yeah.
Because now
family grown.
Oh,
sure.
and it usually is.
Yeah.
Where you're putting the short ribs and stuff like that that you're doing it with now, but. Five Guys has been around for a long time.
Franchise,
and it's another franchise, but
the burgers are good.
They got it down too, Dave. I mean, we go there too. I mean,
it's
a
incredible.
lot of places.
I used to live on King West. Big Smoke Burger was another place I used to go to.
Too. Yeah.
So no, it's all my cards on the table. I have a burger probably at least once or twice a week.
Yep.
Minimum.
Yeah.
So
for the last 6 months, it's been 5 times a week for me.
And we should have been hanging around earlier than this.
By the time,
So
by the time the weekend hits, I'm feeling
where was
a little.
my call earlier than we're on July the 4th, and I'm meeting you for the first time.
All right. Well, now we have another year till next year's Burger Mania. So.
Do you think you could ever have a burger that doesn't have bacon on it? I don't think I could now.
I prefer not to. I think it's a sin. No.
What?
I don't want to say that to the vegetarians who are coming to the festival.
But I need to have bacon on that thing. And it's got to be crispy too. Like I don't want to chew it. I want it to crunch.
Yeah, I like my bacon. I like double bacon, double cheese. I'll still have my vegetables because I have
Mushrooms
to,
I like.
We go for the extra cheese and the extra bacon.
Yeah,
I love
Yeah.
it. That's amazing.
but I like my tomatoes. I like my lettuce, onions.
Yep.
I need that extra stuff.
Do you like
Lettuce and
caramelized?
onions I need.
Do you like
for sure.
caramelized? or-
Caramelized if I have the time to do it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just had our magical fantasy world. In our magical fantasy world, if caramelized onions take that long, I'm putting them on there for sure. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm dipping my hamburger, which is probably about this big, in ketchup before I bite it. I'm
like
just
that.
saying.
Okay.
I like that.
Boom.
That is that's a
Sauce
game
it
changer.
up.
That thing at the
I
end.
like it.
Boom.
People are watching. Right, Dave? Right, Dave? Oh my God. That's what happened. That's what happened there.
Let's drench it in ketchup. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Dave, are you wearing pants when you're doing this?
Oh, and pickles. Sometimes not. Sometimes not. If I'm by myself, no, I'm not. And I need double pickles too.
I'm not a pickle guy.
See, pickles are out from me.
Really?
Yeah, either you love them or you hate them.
And there's
I
certain
don't like them.
there's certain pickles that are garbage,
Yeah.
and certain pickles like if you want to go down to the lowest common denominator, McDonald's. Sorry if you're sponsoring us, we love you, but I love their little pickles.
Hey, their
but
Big Macs are amazing.
They are. I know. But
are.
I love the tongue size pickles that you get, and you have
Yeah.
to get the right pickles. You can't cheap out and go to the store and get XYZ pickles. You need the actual pickles. Usually they're kosher pickles.
Mm-hmm.
They're nice and crisp, nice and cold when you put them on the burger. Delicious.
Hey, listen.
I don't know how
If
this.
that's your thing, if you like
This all
pickles,
of a sudden
then
turned into pickle mania, which is
No, it's still
I think
burger.
there are pickle festivals out there.
It's like that.
Are there really?
There actually are. I'm not. I shit you not.
pickle festivals.
There are pickle
Oh,
festivals
that would
out
get
there.
weird.
I think there's one in Pittsburgh.
See, that would make sense. I'm thinking, who's having it? Yeah, Pittsburgh probably having it. We'll get Joe Bartnick. We call Joe Bartnick. You want Pickle
I was
Fest?
gonna say.
He's going to go, is that related to Porn Fest? I think it probably could be. I think you probably could.
Some of it goes hand in hand, but
It's
you'll
like-
have to read in between the lines.
Sasha Gray's going, I can make that work. Of course you can. Adam, thanks so much for coming in here. Once again, just to let people know if they're going to be in the area, Ontario Place, so just head right down the lake shore and look for the signs. It will be, because we've had great weather too.
Yeah,
we've had some
and
fantastic
we're
weather.
hoping for it. So
Well, I'm sure you'll get it. Thanks so much for coming
thank
in,
you
Adam.
very much.
Thanks,
and
brother.
boys, pleasure being on here.
Awesome.
And welcome home, Johnny T.
There he goes.
Look at
Yes,
that.
you
91, eh?
He-
Is he going to be the captain of the team?
I hope so. I think he should be.
I think it's.
I think he should be.
I know
What do you
they
think,
can't-
Mike?
They can't sit there and say
Because
right now.
after
but-
all this, and then what, they get him signed, and they go, whoops,
I think he should be. I mean,
Morgan Riley. What?
throw a
This is
curveball in.
bullshit.
Yeah, Jake Gardner's will be our captain. So let's throw a curveball.
Jake Gardner better not be on
I
this
went to
roster.
Game 7 in Boston. Like it was right
You
in front
did?
of my eyes. Oh yeah, I went. And
So
I
you're
was-
hardcore then, right?
Yeah, I was sitting in a crowd. It was me and my buddy Jason, and we were in the upper bowl, and we were sitting in a crowd.
Did you have jerseys?
We had Leaf. I had my son
Wow.
Dean jersey on. He had his JVR jersey on, and we were the only two blue jerseys in the entire section. Wow. We were getting beer cans tossed at us the entire.
Yeah, that's
game.
tough.
And when Kapanen had that dangle in front of the net on that breakaway, and he scored on the shorthanded goal,
Yeah.
we just went nuts, and we had people swearing at us and sit down. And I mean, it was a lot more messy.
Yeah, I guess we
language than that, but
never talked about JVR either. That's kind of sad.
no.
But
That contract in Philadelphia.
we never thought. I didn't. Well, look, he's going back, right?
Philadelphia was part of my list. I said East Coast United States. This
Yeah.
guy goes. And
Rangers would have been.
Rangers would have
yeah,
been fantastic.
yeah.
I think Philadelphia is a little ahead of the scale. Also, there's a good relationship there with him and Claude Giroux.
Right.
You don't think those two guys are going to mesh again? It's like, yeah, they will. I think it's a massive deal. Did they overpay for him? Yeah, because I
sure.
think there's a market for JVR.
Yeah,
there's
there
a
is.
market for guys that are going to
30
score
plus goals
35
last year,
goals
of
a
course.
season, and he will do it. He did it with Tyler Bozak. He's going to do it with Claude Giroux. So it's,
And he won't be a problem. He's
no,
awesome.
But
Good
could he have
team
scored
guy.
more with Tavares than Claude Giroux?
Sure, yeah, but you know what? It's kind of like how much money do we have in the pot, right? Because
Absolutely.
eventually you might have to lose one of your star
Let's hope
kids.
it doesn't come to Nylander having to leave.
No,
I
that's
really
the
hope
thing.
it doesn't. I
That's
think
the
he's just truly incredible. So
Well, John Tavares may want to go to Burger Mania. You don't know.
I have invited him.
Open invite.
Open
Did-
invite.
did
to
you
all
open
the
invite?
Leafs.
Yeah?
Actually, I open invite to all the Maple Leafs. I would love to have them there, and they can devour as many burgers as
You
they
know what would
want.
be awesome? So John Tavares shows up, and he just won't leave. John,
And we shoot a promo
John,
of that. We
Where's
plaster
the next
that
one
on.
from? You've had 7. You've had 7. Go back to Oakville.
Mario, you're here. This is perfect. Mario Lemieux used to discuss a training camp strategy, Mike. I don't know if you've heard about this, Adam.
Yeah.
But in the 80s, Mario Lemieux would talk about getting ready for training camp, and they asked him, what's the difference between Mario Lemieux in the summer and Mario Lemieux training camp? He says, well, during training camp, I don't have cheese on my burger. I just have a regular hamburger during training because I got to get back in shape. So summer, cheeseburger. September, training camp, hamburger. Mario Lemieux, one of the greats.
And look how good he was.
Yeah, exactly.
199-point seasons. Guys.
Bingo.
Did you know Ray Lewis, while he trained and while he played football, he never had a cheeseburger, not once.
Oh,
I don't believe it.
I don't get
Not
that.
once. Oh, you do? Okay. You ask him then. You push him. You push him, tough guy. I'm not going up to Ray Lewis. Oh, I bet you're a big fat liar.
Well, wasn't there that whole thing with Chad Ochocinco having a McDonald's burger every day?
No, that I believe.
Yeah, I
No,
think there was something like
that's
that.
that's very
I think it
believable.
was him.
Yeah. There's a couple athletes we see that are former athletes that now go to these events. It's like,
Because you know what's coming. You know what's coming.
You have lost it.
Here's what's coming on the comments. You know, Phil Kessel. Yeah, I know.
That's a different festival.
I know. I know.
Yeah, that's not a hamburger festival.
Adam, thanks so much for coming
Thanks,
in.
guys.
Appreciate
Mike,
it. Best
Dave,
of luck.
really,
See you down
really
there. It's
appreciate
going to be
it.
awesome.
Honor to be on, guys.
That is Adam Panoff talking about Burger Mania once again down at Ontario Place.
Yep, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Buy your tickets online or at the door, burgermania.ca.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We'll make sure, and we'll tweet that out today too, so
Thank you.
lots of people
Thanks,
see
appreciate
it.
it.
Now the World Cup is continuing on. On the other side, we're going to look at the World Cup standings. I don't know why. Everyone's done terrible. I can't believe I actually have two parlays that have gone through because it's almost impossible. Because Germany's out. Sure, they are. Of course. Germany, Spain, Belgium's still in. England with the remarkable that win. Yeah, that these games are insane. The Croatian Denmark, these penalty shots. My God, I'm running out of booze at home. Nothing is playing like you thought, except for certain players who figure that the embellishing still looks good.
Yes.
So if you're Neymar,
Oh, boy.
what?
There's a lot of memes on this guy all over Twitter.
Oh, is there a lot of memes, Dave? You mean like this one? This is what is known as sarcasm.
Hey.
That's sarcasm. It's the one thing that happens in sport that for North Americans, they just completely, you blow them off. Because there is something that we have instinctually, I think, when we watch North American sports, and that's we want our heroes, we want our superstars to act manly. We want them to be men. We want them to be people of character. We want them to do heroic kinds of things. So what if Marc Messier in his day started like diving? What if Marc Messier all of a sudden started holding his knee?
Impossible.
That's never going to happen.
No, that's impossible.
Doug Gilmour all of a sudden going, oh.
No, the only guy that did that consistently was Stefan Richer.
And really not in the hero worship category, I wouldn't suggest. And for soccer itself, I'm glad they've gone to the VAR. To me, that's made total sense that they're able to go upstairs.
Or as the players on the field do it.
Oh, yeah. You like that. It's like, no, I got it. I know it's an African nation. I know maybe you don't. Whatever it is. Okay. All right. But I just look at some of what goes on. And as our buddy Jeff Lumbie said, he goes, from Ronaldo, he's an amazing player. But, in terms of the acting, he said, more Harry Dean Stanton and less Paul Giamatti.
There you go.
Here's the way that he put it. Because it is just, I have such disdain for not only lying, but that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent in sport, is that somehow you feign an injury or embellish what another player's done while writhing on the ground. I don't get it. I don't think it helps at sport. And for those that you're trying to win over in North America, you're not going to do it. So I realize culturally in some countries you do it to get favored, to get the penalty shot, but until they weed that thing out, and again, bringing in the VAR makes sense. It brings a little bit of sanity to it. So it's the right direction, but they got to wipe that thing out. And instead of just giving a yellow or a red card, there should be fines. There should be. What was the kid? He was from Markham, and he started doing the Italian guy. And I'm trying to think of what NHL team he was, and I don't want to draw them. And he did it about 2 weeks in a row in the NHL. And I was like, oh god, in the NHL, that will ruin your career. You're done.
Yes,
you're done. And I think they should be done in soccer. Speaking of soccer, we'll take a look at see if I can find some cheap Euro. What's this? See, sounds soccerish. Yeah, close enough. Our World Cup soccer pool standings. I'll be honest, when I'm not doing well, I don't look.
No.
Like, if I'm not going to win or be close, I'm like Dave. See, that's when we're on the ground rolling. What happened to Dave?
Yeah, that's me.
Well, he's in 11th place.
Oh my God! I went long shots in this next round too. I got Uruguay to beat France.
That's not crazy.
I don't think it's bad.
Why would that's not crazy.
But they're major dogs, right?
I think that's good. I think it's a good bet too.
You know what the French say?
That's
right.
So the person who won our NHL playoff pool,
yep,
a woman, yes, and won $500.
Hey, congratulations!
She's in first place again. Stanley Cup chase. Remember me? That's her name, and she's winning again.
I don't like it.
No, we do not like this.
Bit.
No.
I'm not going to say anything else though.
Followed by Ace McKay. Everything's happening. Third. Everything's happening.
How many people are in the pool?
Like 100.
Oh, good. Okay, so I don't feel so bad at being 33rd. Okay.
No, everyone. I'm 34th, and you're 7 points out or what? 8 points out.
Yeah.
Deutscher Fußballbund. Hey,
sounds like an Italian fan.
Yeah. So I got to be honest. You're sitting there, sort of tied for fourth place.
Yeah.
But your team.
Yes.
Auf Wiedersehen. Raus. Yeah. Schnell. Barker's Beauties. There's Jay Barker. By the way.
He's that high?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a fluke. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
That was a big-time accident.
But we're looking forward to seeing him at the golf tournament
his wife
next
makes
week.
His picks, too.
Yeah. Last place is not last place.
Nope.
Followed by Roast Beef United. And that ain't our roast beef.
No.
That's not him. John.
Who do we got?
John Cocktoaston.
That's a real name? What?
Awesome. From one of my favorite, from a Fletch movie, John Cocktoaston. Awesome. That goes up there with Ape Tit 200. I got to be honest, John Cocktoaston. And then Chris in Mississauga. Don't hurt yourself on that one, Chris. Mm-hmm. Is in 10th place. So that's 42 through 38 points. So everyone's kind of still in it. Because there's no money in this one.
No. Yeah. This is for pride.
Yeah, Blade Tape all of a sudden cheaped out on that one.
Yeah, big time cheap.
Yeah. By the way, if you saw some of those logos with sort of my logo, the half head and stuff like that, but now we got the hashtags with what our sort of our mantra is. That's going to be coming out soon.
Who thought of those, by the way?
Me.
Was that you?
Yeah, it was me.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't sound like a Ted Nesbitt thing.
No, you.
Okay.
No, his were different.
Yeah. No fouls. No yelling.
That was very different. But I'm hearing
no stealing.
The Summer Skates guys might be putting those out as product.
Interesting.
You're going to want that quite a bit, I'm telling you. So once again, what do we have tomorrow?
Fringe Festival guest that we look forward to. Ryan Turner in studio.
And also, I think Jeff Manisham wants to come. I'll bite via phone on.
Does he?
Yeah, he just had a huge case too, like a big murder trial, a
we
national
got,
one.
we got Owen in studio World Cup on Friday.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, he's already confirmed that.
Owen Callahan.
Yes.
Beautiful, brilliant. And I guess we can make fun of the English one if you want to do that.
Yes.
Henry.
A lot of yellow cards in that game yesterday.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
People were getting a little the English. We're getting a little sensitive about
you want to go do karate in the garage?
Colombia's style of play. We'd like to thank Adam Panoff for coming in the studio today. Burger Mania taking place.
Burger Mania, Ontario Place.
Ontario Place. And once again, the tickets are available by
online or at the door.
Well, that was tremendous, Adam.
He's a voiceover guy.
All of a sudden, he turned into Russell, which...
No. He's better than that.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Make sure you subscribe at the bottom if you're watching as our numbers continue to go up. We appreciate it. in almost record numbers for almost everything we do. So we appreciate all those watching. Remember, see, I should have a slogan there. Here's what our slogan is. No tap out, no tanking, no apologies. Yeah. Suck it. That's not mine.